Hi there, my name is Emma-Jayne and welcome to your yoga practice with me today. And this is the second of a full hour class that I'm putting out there. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the opportunity to remove yourself from what is happening, maybe in your home, maybe in your workplace, maybe on the news, the things that are kind of consuming us at the minute. We're all on a very similar boat. So for this practice, if you would like to make sure that you have something that you can sit on or you can use as a bit of support, maybe a block or a cushion. This is just so we can get ourselves comfortable for some pranayama, some steady breathing. So bring yourself into a nice comfortable cross-leg position. And if sitting with your legs crossed is not comfortable at all, bring your legs out long in front of you, or maybe bring a pillow to sit your bottom on top of, or a block, whatever it is that makes you feel nice and connected. It's your call. So folks, give yourself a little moment. Find a little bit of peace. That might mean you have to get up and shut that door. Maybe turn off your tumble dryer, turn off the oven, wherever it is that you find yourself. And just let yourself breathe. I want you to just take a moment to notice how you're sitting. So maybe bringing those shoulders over top of those hips. Bring your head over top of your heart and just let your hands relax comfortably onto your knees. You want to feel as if your sitting bones are pushing down into the mat. You're stable as you're here, so if that means readjusting, go ahead. And if you're familiar with the Ujjayi breath, go straight into it. Begin to tune out what I'm saying or what I'm about to say and just begin to breathe. Make your way into that steady, comfortable breath. But if you are brand new to this practice, if you are just unfamiliar with how this breath works, I'll walk you through it. So you're simply going to breathe in through the nose and make a ha noise as you exhale. And just keep doing that, inhaling. And again. So as you're exhaling, you're pushing that breath up and over the throat, or that exhale up and over the throat. And so this next time, I want you to inhale just as you were. And when you exhale, attempt to make that same noise, but keep your mouth closed. Inhaling. Should sound a little bit like Darth Vader / the ocean. That is allowing your body to move into the parasympathetic nervous system. So what that simply means is you're beginning to relax a little more. Your nervous system is reducing the need for kind of cortisol and all those things that get us from A to B, that fight to flight mode, by just breathing. It might encourage your digestive system to start working a little better. It might encourage you to feel a little less foggy in the mind. And so let's just spend a few moments breathing like this, folks. Inhaling. And as you're breathing, folks, I want you to begin to figure out how you're feeling today. This has been a pretty mental 2 weeks or 3 weeks, wherever you're at. And everything might just feel a little bit overwhelming. I know that on Monday morning I woke up and thought, oh my, this is the new norm. So in those moments of anxiety, those moments of stress, those moments of uncertainty, we all face them, particularly the moment this week. I just want you to begin to recognize that you don't need to control them. In fact, you can't control them. So it's about giving up that sense of strength, that sense that we can control all these external factors in our life. I know that that's a big problem for me. It's like when you get really annoyed that it's raining outside, which is fairly frequent here, isn't it? You don't have control over that. But you do have control on how you respond to it. So inhaling and releasing. Maybe making a little note in how you're choosing to respond to whatever it is going on inside your home at the minute, or inside your back garden, because that's about as far as a lot of us are going. Folks, bring your hands to your stomach. Let them rest there, inhaling through the nose. Exhale, open the mouth, sigh it away. Don't worry if it's really loud, it's all good. Inhale. And one more, inhaling. And exhaling. Beautiful, folks. Let's make our way into a tabletop position. Bring those hands in underneath the shoulders, knees in underneath the hips. I just want you to inhale, drop the stomach, pull your heart through the shoulders, lift the gaze, taking 2 or 3 breaths right here. And as you exhale, bring your chin to your chest. Feel the heaviness of that head as you invite it closer to the ground. Push yourself up and through, arching your back, drawing your stomach up and in. Taking those 2 or 3 breaths. Beautiful. Folks, bring yourself into the tabletop. Allow those hands to glide forward. Bring your forehead down onto the floor, making your way into an extended puppy pose. This is also known as a yin back bend. If you want to go a little deeper, bring your chin onto the mat, your gaze towards the end of it. Now this might be a little intense on your shoulders. If it is, you can bend your elbows so that they're resting on the floor, or you can even bring those hands wider. Wider than the mat, bend the elbows, whatever you need to feel comfort here. This isn't about wrecking yourself. And then begin to walk those hands back toward you. I want you to tuck your toes, make your way into that first downward facing dog, slow and steady. So tucking the toes, peeling your knees up off the ground, pushing your hips skyward. And just begin to pedal the feet out. Notice how it feels as you encourage each heel towards your mat. Let your head hang heavy. Push each little fingertip into your mat and your thumbs down, feeling as if you're pulling your heart through those shoulders, just as you feel when you're in that cat-cow movement, or in that cow movement, I should say. And remember, if you're new, folks, you can always just drop the knees down. You don't have to stay in that down dog as long as maybe I'm suggesting. This is about what works for your body. And then, folks, slowly drop your knees down, return to that extended puppy pose, that yin back bend. Walking the hands forward, bring your chin onto the mat or your forehead. I should say, folks, that if it's a little too much on your knees, you can always roll the mat up underneath. You want your hips in line with the knees as you're here. Feel as if you're pulling your chest towards the ground. And keeping that breath steady. You don't ever want to lose track of it, that Ujjayi breath. That's your guide throughout this practice, not any fancy moves, just breathing steadily. And then walk the hands back, make your way into that downward facing dog. Once again, peeling your hips up to the ceiling. And I want to invite you to stay here for 5 breaths, inviting your stomach up and in, internally rotating those thighs. Feel that there's almost an energy trying to connect them. They're not going to touch one another, but you should feel as if they're drawing towards one another. And if you lose count of those 5 breaths, it's all good, because I'm on the same page as you. When I talk, I forget to count. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. And folks, slowly inhale, lift the heels. As you exhale, bring yourself into a plank position. And then just slowly drop the knees down, untuck the toes. Lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. Beautiful. I want you to bring your elbows underneath the shoulders. Bring yourself into a Sphinx pose. Spread the fingers wide as you're here. Now, I want you to not collapse your shoulders collapse your chest in through those shoulders. So feel as if you're trying to pull your chest towards that side wall if you're facing one, or just towards the side of the room wherever your heart is facing. And see if you can feel as if you're pulling your elbows back towards you without actually moving them, the tops of the feet pushing into the ground and your tailbone reaching towards your heels. I know that's a lot of things to say, but all I'm trying to say is this is an active movement. You're just not slouching down. And then slowly tuck your toes, peel your tummy up off the ground and bring yourself up into a forearm plank. Now if this is a little too much on your abdomen, drop the knees down, make sure you're supported always. And just breathe as you're here. And then lower yourself down once again into that Sphinx pose, untuck the toes, pull your heart through, spread the fingers wide. Feel as if you're pulling those elbows toward you. Now see if you can almost feel as if you're pulling your lower stomach up off the floor, your lower belly, as your tailbone reaches towards the ground. This is a very active little movement. Beautiful, folks. I want you to tuck those toes, bring yourself up into your forearm plank once again. Isn't planking just everyone's favorite little thing to do? Breathing steadily as you're here. And then drop the knees down, walk the hands back towards you. Tuck your toes, make your way back into that downward facing dog. Now I want you to bring that left foot in front of the right and begin to crisscross your feet, walking towards the top of the mat, taking as many little steps as you are able to. Arriving at the top of your mat, bend the knees, let that chest drape over top of your thighs. And just breathing as you're here. The reason we're bending our knees is to support that back of ours, especially at the beginning of our practice. This will feel great after that Sphinx pose. And you maybe want to grab opposite elbow, you maybe want to let your hands rest on the ground. And I just want you to begin to pedal those feet. Maybe be quite dramatic as you do so, bending one knee, maybe your left knee, and straightening that right, and switching sides. Beautiful. Let those feet remain firm onto the ground. Begin to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, bending the left knee, straightening that right. You're going to feel this all the way up the back of that right leg. And then just allow the hands to glide over to the other side, straightening that left leg, right leg is bent. It's going to look a little different for everyone because we are all different people. And then bring it back, folks. Beautiful. Inhale to rise up, slow and steady, and reach those hands up high. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart, drop your chin to your chest, taking 2 deep breaths right here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Inhale, and exhale. Beautiful. Inhale as you reach up high, exhale as you fold yourself forward. Inhaling to halfway lift, and exhale, step yourself back into your plank, taking a breath or 2 here. Drop your knees down, tilt your pelvis so your bottom is pushing up, and then drop your chin and your chest to the ground, and then lower yourself all the way down. Inhale to peel up into a little baby cobra, and exhale into your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Let's make our way to the top of the mat again. Walking up as many little steps as you need. Inhaling to halfway lift, flatten that back. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to rise up, reaching your hands up high. Exhale, hands to heart. Now let's flow through that again, folks. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, step into your plank. Taking a breath or 2 here. Drop your knees down, tilt your hips, lower your chest and chin to the ground. Inhale and peeling up. Exhale, downward facing dog. I want you to choose whichever variation of back bend serves you best, folks. And just walk your feet up. Inhaling, halfway lift, flatten that back. You can bring your hands to your shins or your fingertips on the floor. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart, chin to chest. Final time, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step into your plank. It's up to you, folks. You can drop your knees, your chest and your chin, or you can lower yourself down and inhale, peel yourself into your back bend. Take a moment here. You can let your thighs rest down. You can keep your elbows bent, whatever serves you best. And then make your way into that downward facing dog. Beautiful. Drop your knees wide onto the mat. Bring your toes together and allow those hips to sink back as slowly as you need. Let your forehead rest down. Bend the elbows and bring your hands over top of your head in a little prayer position. Begin to rotate the wrists. Maybe interlace those fingers. And if your mind, your attention is being diverted as you're here, bring it back to the inhale, bring it back to the sensation of that breath. A little stutter there. And if your mind begins to wander throughout this practice, I know that it is very easy to do so. Gently invite it back. Park those other little thoughts that are trying to grab your attention. And then, folks, pushing your hands down into the mat, imagine you're reaching yourself forward. I want you to walk both hands over to the right side as far as you can bring them. Bring the left hand on top of the right. Bring your forehead down onto the ground. So we're going to work into that left side as we're here. I want you to imagine pulling that left hip back a little more. That left hand resting on top of the right. Left hip drawing back. That side body being asked to open up a little bit more. And then just allow those hands to glide, to dance across to the other side of the mat. Your head is resting down. Bring the right hand on top of the left, and just as we did on the other side, invite that right hip back a little bit more as that right hand reaches on top of the left. Only go as far as your body feels comfortable going. And bring it back, folks. Beautiful. Return to that downward facing dog in your own time. From tabletop, tuck the toes. Bring yourself up. Beautiful. I want you to make your way to the top of the mat. You can hop, step, however you choose. If you want to hop up there, bend your knees like between your hands. Take as far as you can go by hopping. Inhaling to that halfway lift, flatten your back. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale to rise up slow and steady. Let the gaze follow the hands as you reach them high, breathing in. Exhale, hands to heart. Keep your eyes open, folks. Beautiful. I want you to bring that right hand down beside you. Inhale, reaching the left hand up high. So you're feeling as if there's energy here, connecting the fingertips to the ceiling, skyward, your hand reaching down. I want you to slowly pour over to your right side. Grounding through that right heel. And bring it back. Beautiful. And then just switch sides. Bring that right hand to the ceiling, left hand down. connecting or trying to connect. That'd be really impressive if you could connect your fingertips right to the floor, and then slowly pouring over the other way. And then folks, releasing down. Beautiful. Inhale to reach both hands up high. As you exhale, bring those hands behind your back, interlace those fingers. Take a little look down at your feet. Spread the toes wide. So we're going to stay in the pose that I'm about to go in, or we're about to go into, for a good few breaths. What I want you to do is, when you start to feel it, bring it back to your breath. Move away or move outside of all the things that are floating around your head, and just bring it back to the inhale and to the exhale. So folks, interlace those fingers. Inhale to lengthen, pulling those knuckles to the ground, and as you exhale, folding forward, bending your knees, chest drooping over your thighs, head hanging heavy. You want to feel as if you're drawing your knuckles to the ceiling, and folks, as you did this, you might have felt as if your palms were prying apart. Try and draw them back together. Changes it just a little bit. Maybe swaying yourself just a little bit here, or just remaining still, whatever works for you. Maybe you're feeling it right now. Slowly bending the elbows. Beautiful. Releasing the hands, letting your fingers trickle down the backs of the legs all the way to the ground. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Grabbing opposite elbow, feel the weight of that upper body drawing you closer toward the ground. Slowly release the hands. Inhale to rise up. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do that a couple times through. Let's do that side to side motion first. Inhale. And exhale, bring the left hand down beside you, connecting ceiling to floor, pouring over to your left. Inhale, bring it back, switching arms. And on your next exhale, pouring over. Beautiful. Inhale to reach both hands up high. Exhale, bring those hands behind your back, interlace the fingers. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to pour forward. That Ujjayi breath is your friend. It's going to bring you peace, a little bit of comfort as you're here. Soften the elbows, release the hands, trickling them down the backs of the legs. Beautiful. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhale to fold it forward. Inhale to rise up, reaching your hands up high. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Drop your chin to your chest, taking 2 or 3 deep breaths here, not losing track of yourself. Or losing track of what you're needing right now. Inhale to reach up high. Final time, folks. Exhale, bring those hands behind your back, interlace the fingers. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, folding yourself forward. Bring the palms of the hands together. Feel the heaviness of that head. And the reason I invite you to keep your knees bent is so that you're supporting your back. Beautiful. Slowly release. You got it, folks. Let the fingers trickle down the backs of the legs. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhaling to fold. Inhale back to that halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins. Draw the shoulders back. Crown of the head reaching to the front of the room. Tailbone towards the back. Your back is flat. And as you exhale, bring your hands down. Make your way into a tabletop and then down onto your stomach. Beautiful. Now I'll show you what this looks like and then we can do it together. So all that you're going to do is bring your arms wide. Let's see if I can do this and still be in shot. So your arms are going to be wide. Your legs are going to be out long. My wall just doesn't give me that much space. You're going to bring the right arm underneath, the left arm over top. So folks, if you're already there, you can stay there. If not, right hand underneath, left hand over top, left cheek resting down. And that's how you're going to stay for the remainder of our time. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. You should feel as if your chest is slightly lifted off the floor as you're here. And then slowly draw the hands back into that T shape. Let yourself rest down for a little moment. And then let's switch sides. So bringing that left hand underneath, right hand over top or right arm. Let that right cheek rest down. Your chest is slightly elevated. And you're breathing steadily as you are here. And then begin to unwind yourself. Bring yourself back into that T shape. If you want to take a little look towards your screen, I'll walk us through this next part of our time together. We're going to bring ourselves into what's called a broken wing pose. I know it doesn't sound very appealing, but I promise you this is fabulous for your shoulders, fabulous for your body. So I'll show you what it looks like and then we can move into it together. So you're simply going to bring one hand underneath your shoulder and then push yourself up and over. Maybe that top leg is coming over top. And maybe you have the ability to bring the arm around and connect them. I'll show you what it looks like on the other side, just in case you're a little bit unsure. So one hand will be underneath. You'll push yourself up and over. And bring your arm around and connect. So a lot of the time people don't have, and I say people, I just mean general people, do not maybe have the same mobility in their shoulders, so this might be as far as they can go. And they have to keep their hand there the whole time. Maybe they can play with setting their foot down. Maybe they've got that space. You want to make sure your head is rested down either on the floor or on a block, whatever you find most comfortable. So I'll give you a moment to get yourself set. Bring yourself into that T shape. You're going to bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder. If you want to check, make sure the right palm is connected to the floor. So take a little look over. Your arm is in a T shape, or the right arm, should I say, is in a T shape. Use that hand, push yourself up onto the right shoulder. Remember, only going as far as works for you. And remember, you might need to kind of change where you're looking to support your head, or maybe pop a block underneath. You can lift that left leg, set it onto the floor, that left arm. Maybe looping around. And enjoy this little bit of peace and calm. Don't underestimate how much this little stretch can do for you. And folks, check in with if you're uncomfortable because you're actually hurting yourself. Reset, change it up a little. But if you're uncomfortable in the fact that your shoulders are quite tight or everything needs a little bit of time to begin to open, that's okay. There's a difference. It's about learning that difference. And then slowly bring that left arm around, allow it to lower yourself back down. Try not to catapult that top leg down to the floor, although it might feel like you should. Bring both hands underneath your chin or your forehead or your cheek. Give yourself a moment. And let's move to the other side. Bring those arms into a T shape. Bring the right arm underneath the right shoulder and slowly begin to peel yourself up. Make sure that left palm is connected to the floor and you can reach that right leg up, set it down, reach the arm over. Come back to that breath, build that steadiness into every little move, every little posture. When you start to find things mentally tough, bring it back to that inhale, bring it back to that exhale. It's kind of like what I said at the start, there's certain things you can control and certain things you can't. It's about letting go of the things that you can't control and being okay with it. And slowly reaching that right arm up, planting it down onto the ground. Try not to catapult yourself back over. Beautiful. Hands in underneath the chin or the forehead. And when you feel that you've had the opportunity to just rest after that, I want you to walk your hands back towards you. Either sit back onto your heels or sit onto your bottom. I'm going to walk us through this next part of our time together. And we will have a great time. We'll flow and find a lovely Shavasana. I know my last recording, the Shavasana was quite short. I guess I was still trying to figure out how long to do Shavasana for, so I'll give you a little more cues when we're there. But make sure you have a block or a book or a cushion beside you, just because we're going to be flowing into a pigeon pose. Don't be too concerned if that is brand new to you. It is a wonderful posture. We're only going to be flowing through the sequence once on each side, so we'll be spending a little bit of time there connecting, enjoying it. So, yeah, grab a drink, whatever you need, and I'll walk us through it. So, you're going to be in a downward facing dog, whatever that looks like for you. If your knees are bent, your hips are pushed high, as long as that back is flat and supported, I don't mind. You're going to inhale, reach one leg up high. Spend a little moment here and then bending that leg, push the hip open, maybe turn your gaze to the side of the room. And then slowly bring it back, step it through in between your hands. Now if that's a bit of an issue for you, you're always welcome to bring the foot up as far as it can go and then bring your hand behind your thigh and shimmy it on up. Grounding that back heel, make your way into a warrior two. Spending a moment here, gazing over those left fingertips. You're going to flip that palm, bring it up, and just reach for the back of your neck. That little base, that little bump that might be there. And then drop your arm, the other arm down to the low of your back, and begin to make those fingertips up towards the other hand. Now, don't worry if they do not connect into this cow-facing pose. All you have to do is keep one hand at the low of your back, the other over top. As long as you're not putting pressure on your neck, trying to connect the hands together, then you're all good. So as you're here, you can look towards the front of the room, you can look towards the side of the room, whatever feels most comfortable for you. You're building a nice bit of strength here. Your chest is remaining open, your heart is open. And then slowly release. And then your cartwheel, your hands, you'll step back into your plank. Now you have an option. You can flow through your vinyasa here. Back to your down dog, or you can just go straight to down dog. I don't mind. You're going to inhale, reach that leg up high, so same leg. And then bring your knee towards the elbow, drop the shin to the ground, and make your way into pigeon pose. So don't worry if this is brand new for you. I want you to gaze over the right shoulder, take a little look. I'll spend a bit more time when we're going into it to go through it. I'm just showing you what we do. So you can pop a little block underneath one side if you want, or you can leave the block out. And I'll ask you to rock one side, rock to the other, and find that good middle ground where your hips are stable. You're not putting too much pressure on one side. We'll spend a while here, a good few moments. Then you'll rock onto your side. You'll bring your foot forward. And then you'll simply grab hold of that foot, extend the leg out long, and bring it over. So you're working into that IT band. And then drop the foot over top. Bring that foot, the opposite foot underneath, into that cow facing posture. If that's not something that is where you can go to, where the knees connect in this pose, make sure that leg stays out long. And then reconnect those hands and see if you can go into that full posture. Don't worry if you're thinking, what on earth am I doing? What have I got into? There's lots of variations of all of these things, and I'll walk you through them. We're only doing it once on each side, so make sure that as you flow, you're in a position that works best for you. As long as you're not doing anything mental, you'll be fine, and it's enjoyable, so make sure that you do get yourself into an enjoyable place for it. So folks, make your way into that down dog. Make sure you have a block or a pillow or something to support you that you can grab hold of. Push your hips up to the ceiling, pedal the feet out. I want you to look between your hands, hop or step to the top of the mat. Inhaling to halfway lift. Exhale to fold yourself forward. Inhale to rise up, reaching your hands high. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart, your chin to your chest. So before we start this practice, this flow, I should say flow, we're already in the midst of our practice. Before we start this flow, just disconnect. Enjoy the breath, enjoy the movement. Find value in the time that you've given yourself. Inhale to reach up high. Exhale, folding yourself forward. Inhaling to halfway lift. And as you exhale, step into your downward facing dog. Inhale to reach that right leg high. You can keep your leg up here, or you can bend the knee, bring the foot over to the side, and feel as if you're stacking the hips, opening up that right hip. Beautiful. Bring it back in line, and slowly step that right foot in between your hands, grounding that left heel. Cartwheel the hands up into your warrior two. So sinking down here, feel as if your tailbone is drawing towards the ground. And you're just breathing steadily. You're going to flip that front palm, bring it up over top of the head, find the low of your neck as you're here, then drop the left hand down and grab hold. Now, if grabbing hold does not seem where you're heading to today, you don't need to. Usually I would ask you if you have a strap you can grab hold. If you do have something like that at home, go ahead if you're familiar with it. If not, just imagine that you're trying to connect those hands together energetically. Beautiful. Open the arms out. Return to that warrior two. Cartwheel your hands, framing your foot. Step back into your plank. Folks, you can flow through vinyasa here, or you can go straight to your down dog. I don't mind. Exhaling down, inhaling up and through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reaching that right leg to the ceiling once again. And as you exhale, bring the right knee to the back of the right elbow, and then drop your shin onto the ground. So that right foot should be behind the left hand or near there. Take a look over the left shoulder, untuck the toes, and just begin to settle yourself down. So depending on how you are in terms of any lower back pain, any glute kind of issues, or just overall tightness, it's totally fine. This is a tough posture. So you can bring yourself, or you can keep yourself on your hands or on blocks. And I want you to rock all your weight over to the right side, so that right bottom is sitting down. And then bring yourself all the way over to the left side. And then find that middle ground. Find where everything is level. There's ease, or there's a nice balance between ease and discomfort, ease and challenge. Now you can begin to walk your hands, or bring your forearms down if you want to go a little deeper. Bring your forehead down. Whatever feels good for you as you're here. Surrendering into this pose. And maybe the posture isn't the hard thing. Maybe it's your mind jumping to your homeschool timetable, or where you're getting your next load of groceries from, or what your work looks like at the minute. It's so easy to let our mind drift away with all the things that we'll have to consider at some point, but our perspective can be entirely different, can't it? Beautiful, folks. Bring those hands or those forearms down the hands. Come push yourself back up. If you want to stay a little longer in that posture, you can. You can pause this here. I'm not sure many people that do want to stay a lot longer in that posture, but you totally can. What I want you to do is work your hands over to the right side as far as you can bring it, and then over to the left side. And if you're able, bring your forearms down again, still sinking into that right hip. It changes it just a little. If that's a bit too much for you, just keep your hands down onto the ground. That is plenty, I promise. And then come back to center. I want you to rock your weight onto that right side. This is going to feel so good. Rock your weight onto that right side. Bring that left leg around and let the inside of that right heel connect with the inner part of that left thigh. So I'll turn towards you. And folks, just taking a little moment here, bring that right hand down beside you. And bring the left hand to the outside of that right foot. You're going to rock yourself on to those sitting bones a little, so it should look like you're sitting like this. You kind of rock back just a little bit so you're on those sitting bones. Grabbing hold of that foot and then extending it out long. Grabbing hold, extending it out long. See if you can bring it over to the side a little bit. Rock yourself back a little bit more if you want. And then bending that right knee, setting the foot down onto the floor. Beautiful. Now, if this is as far as you would like to go into, that cow-facing pose, that's where you stay. I want those toes turned towards me. You don't want to put too much pressure on any part of your body. We already do enough of that in everyday life. But if you are able, rock onto that left side, bring that foot underneath. And make sure those knees line up as comfortably as they can. Your toes are turned out. And try not to compromise this pose by rocking too much onto your left or your right side. Really just figure out if it's possible for you. So, make your way there. This is always something you can work on. I want you to inhale that right hand high, drop it down, and then that left hand just as you did before, that cow facing pose. So the hands connecting behind your back. If they don't connect, you can feel as if you're energetically drawing them towards one another. Try not to put too much pressure on that neck of yours as you're here. And if this feels like a good little spot for you, stay here. If you want to go a little deeper, as you inhale, pull your heart forward. And as you exhale, hinging forward. And just resting here. Maybe you're sniggering at the thought of this being restful. I promise it's good for you. And slowly return. Sitting back up, releasing your hands, planting them down onto the ground, tenting those fingers. Inhale to reach both hands up high, and exhale, plant that left hand down, right hand pouring over, and switch sides. Beautiful work, folks. Using your hands, guide those feet out long. Unravel them. Inhale to reach both hands up high. Exhale, folding forward. Let your hands connect wherever they land comfortably onto those legs. So you're folding or hinging from your hip as you bring yourself forward. Even if that means your hands are resting on your thighs. One thing I try and encourage each person that comes through the door is that their body is different, it's unique, it's a gift, and so figuring out how to love and to serve it better is where I want you to go, listening in on what your body's telling you. Slowly releasing, and let's make our way onto our left side. So folks, if you want to take a little child's pose here, you can, or if you want to spend 3 or 4 breaths in your down dog, you're welcome to, so it's your decision. You can come into your down dog, or you can bring the knees wide, the toes together, sink those hips back. Whatever feels most beneficial for you. And slowly peel yourselves up. From wherever you are in your down dog, you can return, from your child's pose, you can return to down dog. You're going to inhale, reach that left leg up high, and as you exhale, bend the left knee, stacking those hips. Bring the left foot over to the right side of your body. Pushing in through the right heel. Try not to collapse into that right shoulder as you're here. Nice and strong, beautiful. Bring that knee back in line. Step it through in between your hands. Grounding that right heel and cartwheel your hands up into that warrior two. Again, tucking the tailbone if it serves you. Feel as if you're pulling your hips towards the side of the room, gazing over those left fingertips, nice and strong as you are here. Flip that front palm, bring the hand up and over, finding the low of the neck, dropping that right arm down, grabbing hold. Remember, it doesn't always have to touch. Even if your hands can touch and it's just not feeling like today's the day for it, don't do it. Beautiful. Releasing those hands, gazing over the left fingertips once again. If you want to sink a little more into that warrior two, walk that left foot forward. Try not to compromise by bringing your torso over top towards the knee or rocking it back. Your shoulders are always in line with those hips. Cartwheel your hands, framing your foot. Step back into your plank. Flow through your vinyasa or go straight to your downward facing dog. Wonderful. Inhale that left leg high. And exhale, stepping it so that the left knee is connecting to the back of the left elbow. Set your shin down. Gazing over your right shoulder. You can walk that knee back just a little. Grab a block if you were using it last time. You want to make sure you're supported on both sides. But you're just going to rock over to your left and then over to your right again. And then find that middle ground. Beautiful. Bring your forearms down as you need to, or keep them lifted up high, I don't mind. You can drop your forehead down if you want, if it serves. Bring your breath to those areas that feel a little bit tight, a little bit tense. And if your mind is beginning to think of your dinner time plans or your lunchtime plans, and when I say plans, I mean what you're probably going to make for food, right? Just bring it back to the sensation of being on your mat, being here, being present. Bring those hands back towards you. You can stay lifted here if you want. You can begin to walk your hands over to the left side, and then over to the right side. And you can drop those forearms down again. Feel that left hip still drawing back as you're here. And then bring it back to center. Beautiful, folks. Walk those hands in. And rock onto that left hip. This will feel great. Swing that right leg around the front. Whew. That feels nice. Now, just as we did before, that variation of heron pose. So I want you to bring that right hand down beside you. Left hand down beside you. Grab hold of the outside of the right foot. Oh no, I'm doing it the opposite, aren't I? So I want you to bring your left hand down to the floor, your right hand to the outside of the left foot. How about that? It wouldn't be a class with me if I didn't get a left and right mixed up with it. So folks, slowly hinging or tipping back onto those sitting bones, extending that left leg out long and then turning it to the side. Use your left hand as support. I think this happens as classes go a little further on as I'm teaching them. I just become more relaxed in my lefts and rights. I'm like, who needs them? I mean, we do need them, which is why I get mixed up. Beautiful, folks. See if you can recline a little bit more, reaching your heel a little more skyward. You got this. And then bring it forward, bending that leg, setting the knee on top of the right knee. Now, like I said, on the other side, if those toes, or if that leg needs to stay out long, that right leg, just keep it there, it's totally fine. But if not, you can grab hold, bring it underneath. Again, I only encourage you to do this posture, or bring your legs into this posture, if your knees can comfortably connect, if you're not kind of having to really hoist yourself around into this pose. You know, give it a go, but once you kind of realize it's not happening today, don't break yourself doing it. Make sure your glutes are connected to the floor, your sitting bones, and you're going to inhale that left hand up and over, right hand down, and grab hold. Now, you need to know where to stop, right? I think we need to learn this skill anyway. Know where to stop ourselves. Know where to push ourselves when we need. Know where to stop ourselves when we need. If you can fold forward into this, inhaling and exhale. Wonderful, folks. Inhale, healing yourself up from wherever you have found yourself. And release your hands. Tend the fingers. Inhale to reach up high. Exhale, bring the right hand down, left hand pouring over. And just switching sides. And pouring over. Beautiful. Bring your hands to those feet. Bring the feet out long into your Dandasana, your staff pose. You're going to inhale, reach up high, and as you exhale, folding forward into Paschimottanasana, that forward fold. Only going to where it feels good for you, relaxing the kneecaps, making sure that you're hinging from the hips, you're not putting any pressure on your shoulders to arch forward. And folks, if this is a little too much for you, bend the knees, bring the feet a little wider, and just let your hands drape over top. This is just really what you need. If you want to continue to stretch out those hamstrings, continue to try and get that fold, go ahead. If you want to just support yourself here, go ahead. And slowly release wherever you have found yourself. Now, if you want to put any extra layers on for Shavasana, go ahead. We'll just have a little twist as we lie ourselves down. Pop your socks on, grab your eye mask, grab a blanket, anything goes. And just lie yourself down, hug your knees in, Apanasana. Rotate those feet around. If you have a hairband in, remove it so your head can just connect to the floor. Bring your arms into a T shape and let those knees pour over to the right. And just gaze to your left. And slowly bring it back to center. Let those knees pour over to the left, your gaze to the right. And folks, I do encourage this in any of my classes that people come to. If there's a posture that feels good for you, and I maybe haven't said it, do it, but if a posture feels good, try and incorporate it in everyday life. Try and incorporate it in, like when you wake up, or before you go to bed, or when you have a moment. And bring it back to center. Hug those knees in one final time towards your chest. And then extend those legs out long. If your back is a little sore, you can keep your knees planted down. But if not, bring the feet as wide as the mat. Let them splay out to the side. Roll the shoulders back, turn your palms to the ceiling, and bring your chin slightly down toward your chest. And folks, with each exhale, I want you to release tension that is still lingering in your body. I mean, we just do such, I'd say good job, but it's not a good job. We do such a job of holding on to tension, holding on to stress. So inhaling through the nose. And as you exhale, release the tension in and around your ankles. On that next exhale, release the tension in and around your knees and your hips. That torso sinking down into the mat, still having that natural little curve at the low of your back. Your shoulders melting down. Your wrists, your elbows, releasing that tension. And softening that skin in and around your jaw, your brow. And folks, any little thoughts that are trying to get into your mind, just encourage them away, at least for the next few breaths. And take one little exhale, sighing it away, and sink down into the mat, enjoying this Shavasana. Beginning to slowly invite some attention back into the room. A little bit of awareness back to that breath of yours. And beginning to move your fingers and twinkle those toes. And on that next inhale of yours, slowly reaching your arms towards the back of the room, drawing those feet together, pointing your toes to the front of the room, feeling renewed, feeling refreshed, feeling perhaps a little more ready for whatever the day holds, the week holds. Keeping your eyes closed, and just pour onto your right side. Lifting up, settling down, breathing steadily, keeping that calm demeanor that you've created in this time. And slowly, in your own time, push yourself up into a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to rest onto your knees. Let's finish our time with 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose. Exhale, sigh it away. Beautiful, folks. Inhale and exhale. And folks, before you take that final breath, before you make your way back into your day, gather those little things that you do not need. Gather the idea that you maybe have control over things that you do not have control of. As you inhale, and as you exhale, let it all go. Releasing it, being content, allowing your eyes to flicker open. And thank you for your practice today. Thank you for taking the time. It was wonderful to practice with you, even virtually. Have a wonderful day.